Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's meeting. City of Anamosa City Council Agenda Regular Session, Monday, April 25th, 2022, 6 p.m. Anamosa Library and Learning Center. 1.0 roll call.
Crump,
Here.
Bamber,
Here.
Smith. Here. Stout,
Here.
Tukin. Here.
Here.
All members, council members are present in chamber. 2.0 Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
3.0 Approval of Agenda.
So moved. Second.
Who's second? Jeff. Thanks. Motion by Alan, second by Jeff. Council discussion. Dana, please conduct the roll vote.
Crump,
Yes.
Bamber,
Yes.
Tukin,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Stout,
Yes.
Bamber.
Yes.
Motion to approve carried unanimous. 4.0 motion to approve the minutes from the following meetings. 4.1 April 11th, 2022, regular council meeting.
Move to approve. Second.
Motion by Rich, second by Alan. Any further discussion on the minutes as they were submitted? Dana?
Smith,
Yes.
Stout,
Yes.
Tukin,
Yes.
Bamber,
Yes.
Bamber.
Yes. Yes.
Motion to approve carried unanimous. 5.0 public hearings, none. 6.0 proclamations, none. 7.0 old business. 7.1 review and approval of professional services agreement with Shy Battery for Fire Station Addition Project. Ron Hines.
Hello, can you hear me? It's Ron Hines.
Yes, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Thanks for joining this evening, Ron.
Sure. If you would like for me, I can explain what we have submitted. We submitted a request for an amendment to the contract to continue providing construction administration services due to the delay of the pre-engineered metal building being supplied. And so we discussed that the last meeting about a month ago. And since that time, I have submitted documentation because I was asked by what type of services that we have provided thus far. And so I submitted all that documentation. And I don't know if everyone received that or had any questions about it. But there are several things that we did from the May 7th notice of award for the contract to the contractor through the end of January 31st, which is when the contractor was initially scheduled to be substantially completed. And so did everyone receive that information or have any questions about that information?
So just to interject, that was the email that I'd sent out. He sent me several job files, which were pretty broad in scope. We discussed over the phone that they were pretty massive files that just allows us to get to them and I can review those. And in the same email that he had sent me, it looks like items A through L of just kind of a broad overview, if that's correct, Ron, of
Yes,
and stuff that was performed during that time.
correct. Yes. And so those, the request for the services is basically hourly. And it's through an estimated time frame of completion to the end of June, that from the date established on the addendum, which was March 15th, that we would work hourly toward the construction administration services from them forward. And the building right now is scheduled, project is scheduled to be completed in June. So are there any questions that I can answer or clarifications?
I guess the biggest concern we had when we talked was, I mean, I know you say it's gonna be done in June. With there not even being a cement floor poured yet, I don't know how realistic that is, but I think several of us, at least I did, had the concern that, it's the same project. I understand it's getting delayed for whatever reason with the building, but it's the same end product. So I guess I would compare it to, if someone's building a house, it may take longer than they would expect, but there shouldn't be additional contractor costs even though it takes longer. That was my concern. I don't know what anybody else has, but.
Well, I've got the same concern, Jeff, and plus the fact that I'm looking at the contract and looking at your schedule of 4 weeks for kind of the design and so forth, construction documents, 6 to 8 weeks, bidding and negotiation, 4 weeks. And then the actual construction is estimated at 8 to 10 months. As to why, I guess you feel that the contract has expired when it's all still the same project. Granted, you might have had a few things in between, but I saw a lot of emails going back and forth that really didn't amount to a whole lot. And I'm not sure what you actually did during this whole time frame to warrant expending all of the money up to this point in time.
Well, I can send an hourly log if you would like, which shows of the effort that we had during the labor and effort that we've spent in the construction administration thus far. There's been a lot of work that we've done in the past 11 plus months on the project for construction administration, and it mounts up. And so the delay of the pre-engineered metal building, we have no control of that being delayed basically because of the pandemic situation and people getting things manufactured in a timely manner. We have no control of that. Just like we have no control of the contractor's schedule to be done by June. I'm just communicating what they've communicated thus far. I don't know if that schedule has changed to date as we speak. So I can send that hourly report to you, but we've definitely done a lot of work on the project in the past 11 months.
Would you give
There-
me an example under 4.2.4? It says, services necessitated by decisions of the owners not rendered in a timely manner or any other failure of performance on the part of the owner or the owner's consultants or contractors. What, give me an example of what that is.
That was in the 4.2 of the original contract.
I assume so, yes.
Okay. It just means that services, and just means that decisions need to be made in a timely manner on all parties' behalf, and it's that simple, I guess.
So you don't have an example of what we didn't do in a timely fashion.
No, and the request for the amendment is due to the lack of the contractor and the pre-engineered metal building manufacturer being able to deliver the building in a timely manner.
So we should be paying for that?
Well, it's additional labor effort for us and additional time on the contract for it, and we've asked to be reimbursed for it. Yes.
That's not our fault that that happened.
Can you explain, how is it additional time if we're waiting on a building? I mean, if it was on time, there wouldn't be this penalty, but just because it's the metal building is delayed, there's a penalty. It just doesn't seem right to me, I guess.
It's not right.
Oh. Well, I can only say that it's additional time, it's an additional schedule to the project, and it's additional effort on our part. If the building had been here and it was being constructed, it would have been constructed by January 31st, more than
Yeah.
likely.
No, we all agreed that. I guess give me a specific task that you guys have had to do because the building is delayed. What have you done that you wouldn't have had to do if it was on time?
Well, at this point, what we have to do in the future is we have to interact with the construction of the pre-engineered metal building on site. Up until now, there has been construction efforts going on site that we've been interacting, performing labor, attending, going to the job site, answering RFIs, reviewing shop drawings regarding all the products that are being supplied to the building. And so it's the additional effort and time in the future that we're asking for the additional fee.
But I mean, other than the walls and they've done some backfilling and they put the rock or base down, the floor hasn't been poured yet. I mean, there's a lot of construction to be done yet. So if we're
Agreed.
with this additional bill, what more is going to come? Because, with electrical supplies, plumbing supplies, if that happens to be delayed, I mean, where does the bill end?
Well, I cannot predict on the supply of the materials moving forward here, but I do know that the metal building is here. And if they have not already, they will begin constructing the pre-engineered metal building. To my knowledge, that was the only thing that was delayed.
Well, aren't we now in a delay because of the slope of the sewer line, that there's a possibility we have to put in a pump station or a lift station?
We're reviewing that. The engineers are sizing that and trying to determine that at this time, yes.
And that delay is not caused by us. That's caused because you guys did not plan for it, correct?
We did not plan for the pump station, but as the existing conditions have been communicated to us most recently, I think it was like on 4/15 or something like that. We're trying to solve that problem.
Do you have an estimation of what that would cost to put in a pump station?
I believe that the pump station is in the $10,000 to $15,000 range
Why would we do that?
for the size.
Why would we do that when Liberty makes us a pump that would work just fine? $2,000 and two guys can put that in one day. Should be familiar with Liberty.
I'm not. You could always send that link or information to me and I could have our mechanical engineers review that.
It's a simple operation. We've got at least two of those pumps in this town right now that I know of. One of them has been in for quite a few years and it's never failed. For $18,000, we could buy a hell of a lot of pumps that fail.
Yeah, I can only have that reviewed, I guess, if you can send me the information on it.
Be glad to.
Well, and looking through the materials that you sent too, that I noticed that, Al's bringing up Liberty for that pump, but I believe there was another, and I can't tell you what part it was, but I know Kraus was going to supply it. And it was recommended by their supplier, and they produce the same name brand that you guys wanted, but you would not accept it, even though it might have been a cheaper part. And I noticed that there were a couple emails back and forth, and then finally one of your employees just said, "We're done. We're not discussing this anymore."
It could be related to products or materials that were recommended after the fact of the bidding and that were not included in the bid documents. So I'm sure that that's probably the case. I'm not exactly familiar with that email off the top of my head, but more than likely that is the situation. That if the product and material was not approved in the bidding documents, then at this point, we typically would not accept it.
Well, let me ask you this. What's our option
Yes.
if we don't approve this amendment?
The amendment has been requested. If you don't approve it, then we'll have to evaluate what we can do in the future for the that's best for the project.
Can you promise us we won't have to pay for any more delays?
No, I cannot, because again, the construction is the contractor's responsibility.
That
And,
makes you the responsible then, because you're the contractor.
Well, we're actually the designer, the contractor.
Oh, then you're still in the
constructing
middle of, that just bugs me. Why would we have to pay you? Because for some reason, for 3 months or 2 weeks or 5 days, somebody doesn't get something to you on time. That's not our responsibility. If we screw up, yeah, we should pay you for the problem, but we're not screwing up. So why would we have to pay you because somebody doesn't get you what you want when you want it?
If you're referring to the pre-engineered metal building, it's been more than 5 days or 3 weeks. It's actually, the project will be delayed almost 6 months.
Okay, so why should we have to pay for those delays? It's not our fault.
And it's not our fault either. It's beyond our control.
Then you should take it out on the people that are causing the problem and not make us pay for it. I'm having a real problem with this. I run my own business and I deal with a lot of people. We restore cars. I've got cars in there that we've got, not as like what you've got, but we're talking $150,000 in one car we're working on. And I don't charge them for the delays we're having because China or some other company can't get me the parts. That's my responsibility. You know how many cars I'd be doing if I told the customer, well, you're going to owe me another $4,000 because I got to wait for the parts and I made a bunch of phone calls. I have a real problem with this, a real problem.
Well, let me ask you this then. From here going forward, the building's here, we're waiting on pouring the floor, doing the electrical, doing all of that stuff. What's really left for you? What are you gonna do in the next 4 months?
We would be interacting with the contractor, answering RFIs, looking at making site observations, generating reports from those site observations, and looking at any other contract modifications that may or may not come up.
So really not much.
A a substantial completion observation, a final observation, just review of pay applications and signing off on those based on the work that's complete, et cetera. And
ba-
we'd estimated that would be around $15,000 for the duration to continue.
But it's basically stuff that you would have anticipated you would have had to do during the project.
Yeah,
mean,
that we would have been doing back in 2021.
now you're gonna-
Along with the other stuff that we have already done.
Could the contract be amended to have verbiage that says to end of completion date, since from here on out, sounds like it's pretty typical stuff. Because if we pay this and then June comes and it's not done, then we're gonna be having the same conversation again.
Yeah, and I have no control for the contractor's schedules, no constructing of the building, so to that end, I can only go by what their schedule is for construction completion. If it's beyond that, I have no control of it. That's why I issued the amendment we estimate that it's $15,000 through June. And if it went into July, if it went into August, then we'd be performing additional effort then.
Ron, who would be considered the project manager that oversees this project?
That would be myself.
So where do the sharp teeth come from that can be put into contractor delays, procurement delays? Where is that managed at from this project standpoint?
The procurement and the ordering and things like that of the building and the components and things like that are the contractor's responsibility, not the designer's responsibility.
So what I'm
And
hearing.
the construction of the building. There are two different things, there's us as a design entity, and then there's a contractor who successfully bid the contract and was awarded the contract, and he's required to perform services for you that constructs your building.
If I'm hearing you, Ron, I want to make sure it's
Uh-huh.
clear. The contractor should manage, in a sense, the building and any delays with the materials getting to the job site by an agreed upon date. Is that correct?
That is correct. They would be managing that process, procurement and construction.
So when the date is understood, you as the overall project manager are aware of the dates? So product ship, different phase completion.
We're aware of that based on the contractor's construction schedule. Yeah,
So when the dates are overshot, I'm just trying to understand how much time Shive has put into managing each step of the project.
yeah, I guess regarding our fee, I would just defer to our contract that states the percentages of our fee that we would estimate be spent. And that would be 20% in schematic design, 20% in design development, and I believe up to 70% through the construction documents. Then there would be 5% bidding, and then 20% construction administration. So during the construction administration, and I'm rounding this off, if our fee were $100,000, that would mean we would be spending $20,000 in the construction administration. Hopefully that answers your question.
Well, this is this is not my area of any expertise, but I've dabbled in project management. So I'm just trying to understand when the building did not arrive on scene, there was no construction of the building or erection of the building going on. How much you managed and tried to put your teeth into getting that delivered and erected?
The delivery and erection is the contractor's responsibility. And part of the work that we would have done regarding the building was in a timely manner, once we received the documentation for the shop drawings for the engineered metal building, we would have reviewed those in a timely manner, and we would have returned that documentation to the contractor to inform them that we reviewed that as being complying to the design intent of our design. And then they would have processed the procurement from there and delivery of the building.
Other than the delays, and a couple flukes that popped up, like the rewrites showing through the cement, and now a sewer line that needs some adjustment. Everything's run pretty smoothly as far as the building goes. Am I correct in saying that, other than the delays?
Those are the two things that I'm aware of that are issues that we've had to resolve. Yes.
So,
Working with the contractor to resolve the issue of pouring the concrete in weather that did not meet the required temperatures for the concrete when it was poured. And then we reacted to that to give them instructions of what needed to be done. And then they did some additional testing, and we reviewed that additional testing. And then we issued some documentation related to instructions to repair the foundations where there was the exposed rebar and a product information. And
yeah,
that alone, by the way, is not something that we did, which cost us probably about $3,000 of our fee to interact with the contractor to correct a mistake that they had made.
I understand that.
Yeah.
That being said, if everything would have gone as planned, like clockwork, we'd have been fairly close to the bid that was put out. Am I correct in saying that?
I'm sorry, but I don't understand that question.
That being said, barring the few glitches that had to be resolved, let's say that everything was going smoothly, we had no delays, we'd have been really close to fairly close to the bid that came out, other than the corrections that need to be taken care of. Am I correct in assuming that?
If the project had been completed by the substantial completion date of January 31st, if that's what you're asking, yes, and the building would have arrived. That time frame, there shouldn't have been any issues.
So
Other than,
now we have a bunch of delays, no fault of our own. And we are being told that we have all the, last meeting that I was discussing with you, I think we were talking about $18,000 at the time. Correct me if I'm wrong. And we're going to have more delays yet. And you're saying it's going to look like another 15,000 for that lift station, but I don't see a reason for that. But that being said, we're paying for delays of no fault of our own. Why is that? That's not our responsibility. Your responsibility is put this, make sure that you do your job. It's not to charge us for delays that are of no fault of our own. I don't understand why this is happening.
well, I think I've explained it as best I can. So
I don't think you can. I've never worked with a contractor that's done this to me.
So Ron, just out of curiosity, how many times have you been on site?
I believe that we have about 8.
No, you, not somebody else, you, yourself.
Either my architects or engineers have been on site, myself once early in the project. When we were designing.
And you're in charge of the project and you've been here once?
Because I rely on my project engineers to do the site observations and review the construction, and yes. And architects.
So the initial contract date, if everything would have went according to plan, would have ended January 31st, correct?
That was the contract that we generated, owner contractor agreement, yes.
Okay, so from February 1 forward to current date and through an anticipated, what'd you say, June 30th?
Yes,
June 30th. You're estimating an additional $15,000 to cover this project.
from March 15th to June 30th, yes.
March 15th. So
Yes, sir.
from February 1st to March 15th, there was no additional costs.
That is correct.
So as far as a compromise or a negotiation, I'll go back to, I think, Councilmember Stout had mentioned 15,000 could be paid to Shive Hattery to oversee this project through completion date. Would that be a possible compromise? And I'm not speaking on behalf of the city. I'm trying to move this all forward. Is that something that Shive would favor?
That would help us with our fee, yes.
We would have to
So
have
the
a,
answer to that is yes.
we would have to have a contract if council is looking to go this route. We would have to have a contract rewritten and signed on behalf of Shive and the city.
Yeah, I would revise this amendment and change the date.
So council, I think would be in both parties' best interest to continue with Shive throughout the duration of this project. Just because if we part ways, who knows what anybody will be charging to come in and oversee. There still has to be work to be certified. Craftsmanship, I should say. So I would anticipate we have to have someone overseeing this project. At this point, with the ship have already left the dock, that could get expensive. An assumption on my part.
I would like to see a contract that says that they will do $15,000 until the building's up and everything is done before I
So-
would say yes.
project end date.
And make sure that it's
No date. Open-ended date.
until it's finished. And then also any delays would not be charged towards us
Exactly.
at all.
That's
It's
what I
just-
was trying to explain to Ron. Maybe I didn't do a very good job of
Well,
articulating that.
not to exceed 15.
Yes.
It could be less if everything goes perfect, but not to exceed 15. I don't know. I'm just disappointed in the way this whole thing has played out. And I know going back and looking at through some of the emails, there's been some, I guess, lapse in timing of responses, because I think you communicated with Jeremiah about something that, from what his memo said, Beth communicated with you on April 8th, but you never evidently even looked at it until after communicating with Jeremiah, and he said that she sent you the email on April 8th and you didn't even open it up and read it. So we're going to have better communication in this whole process too.
Yeah, that was, I did see that email, but it's, again, I apologize for the misunderstanding that it was the intent of the council and for Beth to appear at the last meeting 2 weeks ago. That was my misunderstanding, if that's what you're talking about. But it was not that I did not open it or did not see it. I just didn't know what email he was talking about when we were having our conversation on the telephone. And we are copying Jeremiah on everything at this point. Our responses to RFIs, things like that we will get from the contractor. Site observations.
Well, council, I would strongly suggest that we come to an agreement with Shive Handry to see this project through till its completion. Details outlined. And allow this to continue moving forward.
I move we table this till the contract is signed and written, so we have that. That would be 2 weeks from now. We can accept it and go from there.
So Ron, would that be Shive amending the contract and then resending it to the city, to Jeremiah?
Yes, I'll do that and get that sent to Jeremiah.
So was that a motion to table until that contract?
I move
is
to table, yeah.
available?
Second.
Motion by Alan, second by Kay. Council discussion. Dana, would you please conduct a roll vote?
Stout,
Yes.
Tukin,
Yes.
Crump,
Yes.
Songbird,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Zumba.
Yes.
Motion approved. Ron, again, thanks for attending this evening. I think it would be very much appreciated if yourself or another representative of Shive was in attendance at the meeting in 2 weeks.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
7.2, review and approval of position profile and job announcement for city administrator clerk Elizabeth Hanson.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. How are you doing?
Good.
Well,
Well, thank you.
Good, good. In your packet, you should have a job announcement and the 6-page profile that describes your wonderful community and your goals that you have established for the city at this point. And then also the characteristics and traits that you're looking for in your next city manager. Included in that last page would be the years of experience and education that would qualify this person. And then it also includes the compensation and benefits, and then also how to apply and the timeline for the interviews and the whole process. So tonight I asked Jeremiah to put this on the agenda so we can get your approval. Once you have approved it, then I will start advertising tomorrow. And if you look at the timeline on the page, we would have it open for about 3 weeks. During those 3 weeks, I'll be doing my recruitment. And then we would get together. I'd come back with all of the applications to another council meeting, and we would go in closed session. And we would talk about not only narrowing down those folks to a semi-finalist level, where we'd invite them to do a written sample and provide some other documentation to do background. But also we would talk about what that interview day would look like and what folks you would like to include on a panel. So we would do that at an upcoming council meeting. So again, with your approval this evening, and it's a simple motion on the job announcement, which is consistent with the profile, we will get started.
can we offer an idea? Like maybe the current library instead of the old library picture? Maybe including the fact that the Anamosa Community School District works with Kirkwood and high school students can take college classes while they're still in high school.
I heard current library photo. And I heard something about Kirkwood. What was that comment?
High school students working, the Anamosa Community School District works with Kirkwood. So students in high school can take college classes at no cost to them.
Okay, that's excellent to know.
I've got a couple of items too. Do you have any more, or is that it?
Yeah, please share.
Oh,
Go
you
ahead.
know, you
No,
no,
go
you go
ahead.
ahead.
I have to think about it. for a
Okay,
while.
kind of the same thing. Just a few points to you might want to correct. In one spot, it says we're 45 miles west of Dubuque. You probably want to correct that to be south. One
40
place is
miles south of Dubuque.
whatever miles you have, we're south of Dubuque, not west. And then the schools, it says there are 4 K-12 schools, Anamosa, Strawberry Hill, middle and high school. You mentioned Anamosa Raiders Kids Club, which I think we have, but it's not really, that's within Strawberry Hill. You'd probably want to modify that and add St. Pat's. It's kindergarten through 5th or 6th grade.
Okay. K through 6, okay. Thank you. Any other edits? It's good.
I don't know if you were going to mention any of the, I know you mentioned the hospital, some of the larger employers. I know we have a couple, new industries in town, or just a thought.
Why don't you tell me what those
Like
are?
the Metal Design, Blue Track are both new to the area. I don't know if we wanted to mention any of the larger employers. I know you hit on the hospital. The prison is significant here, maybe
Mhm.
a picture of that. The schools.
Metal design, okay.
Boomerang is a large employer.
Yep. Okay. Anything else?
Okay, did you have a couple extra or you just need some
No,
time?
I think we're good.
Jeff? You
No.
touching all yours?
Yep, yeah, I'm good.
Any other council members have some additions or modifications? Not, I'd entertain a motion.
Motion to approve with changes.
Second.
Motion by Rich, second by Brooke to approve with the modifications. Any other discussion?
Is there, I don't know, if any chance you could email this out? I know you want to get it out tomorrow before you put it out there. Is there any way that'd be a possibility? You know, once you get those updates to just shoot it out real quick and.
Yeah, do you want me to just send it to your interim city manager for approval, or do you want me to send it to the entire council?
Interim city manager.
The interim city manager?
Sure.
And he could forward it to us if, so we can at least see the final product.
Sure. Yeah, I'll definitely want to get a better picture then of that library if you guys have any on file. So I will be communicating with Jeremiah then. If that's okay.
Perfect. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Well, I like the effort that you put into this. It's going to be really well done, I think. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And just for the record, yesterday I did, or not yesterday, Saturday, we did the interviews for Dennison and they did already get a signed agreement. So I'm just happy to report that because I know you probably were kind of curious about that one since we just, I had shared that profile of Dennison's job. So hopefully we can find the right pick for you folks as well.
We're not quite finished yet, Elizabeth. We need to take this to vote.
Okay.
Dana, would you please conduct the roll?
Tukin,
Yes.
Zumba,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Stout,
Yes.
Cover,
Yep.
Crump.
Yes.
Motion to approve carried unanimously. Elizabeth, thank you for taking
you.
time to be with us, and what you submitted was very impressive. The modifications, will just send it over the top.
Great. That's great. Thank you all. Have a good evening.
You too. Thank you.
7.3, project status update from Snyder and Associates, Lindsay Beeman.
Hi, everyone.
Hi there.
Hi. I don't know if you have any questions for me on the big news of the last month is that the project bid. So, and I would assume not surprisingly, the local contractor Boomerang Corp was the low bidder. So, I believe that we had a recommendation for awarding that in your packet. That's something that the DOT will go through. We need to check and make sure that, I'm assuming you have Beth's email still. I'm assuming she's on Doc Express and I might just go through her account. I don't really know. If you don't see anything for DOT, I'm sure that they'll make sure that somebody gets it eventually.
So then like next meeting, we'd need something official to approve an award.
That's what I mean. The DOT runs that. They run the awarding process on their own through their own process. So yeah, I'm sure if they have something for you guys for the council, they'll let you know.
So this phase is in someone else's hands, right?
It is in the DOT, yeah. When it's DOT let project, yeah, they manage the construction bidding process. They tell us, you're not really supposed to talk to the contractor until the final contracts are signed, which we're allowed to know what's going on at this point. But the start date is going to be up between Boomerang to decide and let the DOT know. And then once they start, that timing starts, that working days. So, but it has to be by this June 13th is a late start date, so it has to be by then. It's just they give them a late start date, so they know the window in which they can start.
City like you just needs to sit and wait patiently. Okay.
So what, on the bids, what was the other bid? Just out of curiosity.
I don't have that in front of me, but I can look. They didn't give you guys the results, huh? I can find out,
Okay.
I know I was sent it.
I'm just kind of curious what the difference
It was
between the,
above the engineer's estimate. We were right in the middle. Somewhere I want to say it was like 2.6, 2.5, 2.6, somewhere in there.
okay,
Off the top of my head. It
so
was Chig Fry from the Duke. I know that much too.
sizable difference.
Could you-
Yeah.
Could you forward that
I will.
to
Yeah, I
Jeremiah?
will. Yep.
And then he can distribute that to
Definitely.
the rest of us. Thanks.
I will find that here tonight, even probably.
So, are you excited?
I mean, it's good to see this thing going
Well, I think
into the
we
next phase. It seems like it's been a long time coming, so it is exciting to get
has.
it moving forward.
need to get this completed, but it needs to be done with high craftsmanship, quality work, but
Well, you know, and I, you know, no favoritism, but when it's in somebody's front yard, construction wise, you can assume that that contractor will take good care of it and have some responsiveness to
I
it.
don't
So.
think there's any doubt.
I know, that was kind of my,
All
I'm kind
right.
of, you know, we were tentatively curious what would happen with the bid, you know, being like that. So it's good to know that they were excited about it and they were hungry for it as well. They didn't just, you know, they weren't the only bidder. Also good to see. That's also scary. Others might not come into town.
This is big for the community.
Yes, it is.
You know, it comes with a price tag, but it's,
Yeah. I
It's
mean, I
gonna
saw that
impact us
connectivity
heavily.
finally. Put that on your advertisement.
Mhm.
Projects coming through town.
So do you know when the flow basin will be, where that,
I know. I
what
was
the
like-
time schedule
I
is on
know.
that?
Well, so yeah, apparently we're behind on technician help in my office and I was frustrated about that. The good news is that since we're doing CDBG now, we're on their schedule anyway, so we're ahead of them at this point, so it should be going forward. Nick said he promised me he would meet with you soon. And it should be in my hands, kind of out of my hands, but it's my responsibility. Book stops here, so yes, I don't know. Apparently, we're a little busy at the office. That's not your problem. That's something we need to resolve.
Okay. Because it just seems like it,
I know. I
it's
know,
just
and
been
I-
rolling down the hill and
Correct, correct.
not
yes,
reaching the bottom yet.
correct. So no, I mean, the CDBG funding application is due in July too as well, so there's not much to do before that application anyway, especially if you want to try to apply more funds. I'm glad you're doing that. That's, we wanted to do that last year, so
Okay.
it's money that could be available. Pretty great money to get.
council, any other questions, comments for Lindsay?
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks.
Thanks,
for being
Lindsay.
present, Lindsay. We appreciate that. 7.4, project status update from HR Green, Josh Scanlon, Jeremy Kemmer.
Good evening.
Welcome, guys.
Josh Scanlon and Jeremy Kemmer here. First item we have on your agenda is just an update on overall projects we have going on with the city. So we should have submitted a memo. I'll run through that. And if anybody has any questions as we're getting through the different projects, please just interrupt me and I'll be happy to answer questions. Sycamore Street, that is underway. Contracts are signed. Construction is slated to begin June 1st. Who's the contractor on that one? Remember?
We have had pre-construction.
So that one is proceeding. Jordan well number 6, that was split into 2 different bid packages. The first bid package went to Gingrich. They are at the almost completely done with their portion. A little bit ahead of schedule on that one. Boomerang is the second bid package. It's bid package 2 that will include the building and all the piping. They had mobilized, and I think we're starting either this week or next. One other thing to note is in the recent past, we did do a change order to acidize the well as part of that bid package 1. The results on that were successful. So that is good news. Third project is the well 7 siting study. That is complete. We looked at a couple different locations, coordinated with the school district. There might be a little bit of follow-up with the school district just to get that final location blessed on their end, and then we'll circle back with the city on getting something in place for an easement or some other agreement. Fourth project is Booth Street. That is currently in bidding phase. Contractors are looking at it. I believe it's scheduled to bid a week from Thursday. That is, we have an approved DNR permit on that project. And we do have, I think, a contract amendment in front of you further down the agenda here for construction phase services. The fifth projects are disinfection alternatives analysis. That was complete. That's looking at ways to improve the treatment process for foreign residuals. The study's been complete, it's been submitted to DNR, and they are actively reviewing it. Sixth project is the city GIS. We're making some progress on that on a couple of fronts, but still waiting, I think, for some sanitary sewer and storm sewer manholes. Mike Liska from our office is progressing that one as possible, and with the cemetery, he's chipping away at that plot by plot. The pre-treatment agreement, we've submitted a letter to the IODNR to give them an update on the status and request some limits to that pre-treatment agreement changes. So once that is approved, we'll be back in front of council to get an agreement between the city and penitentiary on those floors and loads. Eighth project on the list is the sewer alley project between Ford and Huber. That survey has begun on that one, and it is in progress, working towards the next design deliverable in that project. And then the last one, is this your sidewalk project? You wanna touch on this?
Yes, so Third Street sidewalk is a conceptual design along Third Street to extend sidewalk from Shaw over by the hospital. We have a conceptual layout already put together, as well as an OPC. The next step is DOT coordination, just to make sure that we have buy-off on how we're getting across those ramps, working with the existing push buttons, and if we can put a sidewalk next to the highway. Eventually, we will likely need a right-of-way permit for that. So it's good to get their buy-off before we go too much further. So we have a preliminary layout. And once we get their buy-off, we'll probably be moving into some public engagement where you can solicit more feedback from council as well as community.
So, Jeremy, you just mentioned, maybe I misunderstand you. You talked about this sidewalk project from Shaw to the hospital.
Yes.
But does this incorporate Third Street coming back into the city? Or is
So
it
this is
just
along
that area?
Third Street from where the trail is at Shaw, and that runs along
Okay.
Third under the
All of
highway,
it. All right.
all the way
Gotcha.
to the east end of town.
Thanks.
Yeah.
You mentioned right away, is that the area going underneath the bridge, 151 highway?
Yes, where it goes, basically from where it hits that westernmost ramp, it turns into state highway. So even the stuff that's along Third will be in DOT public right of way.
So you will be contacting Iowa DOT to
Yes.
get that taken care of?
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
Any other questions on our project update?
Got any free stuff? We could use a little.
But I guess that brings up a valid question. You, through these projects, you search out if there's any low-hanging fruit funding out there?
So that actually is part of the contract for the Third Street sidewalk, is that we will be preparing at least 2 separate funding applications to grants as we identify with the coordination, be it with Jeremiah or the eventual city manager. We'll determine where we think the best chance of winning some money is, be it STBG or SDBG, you know, lots of acronyms out there. Is it Safe Routes to School, SRTS? You know, where do we think that we can find some money to help afford that project? So that is part of that scope.
Then on the other projects, any state, federal infrastructure funding?
Some of the details on the infrastructure funding is still a little in motion. So getting access to that is a little bit of a moving target. But once that's settled, we'll look for any opportunity we can to help.
But you do take the lead in looking for
Yes.
if there is anything
Yep.
we can qualify for.
Correct.
Taxpayers appreciate that.
I've been spending time trying to track where it's coming in with, particularly where it comes to roadway, which is my jurisdiction mostly, but you know, it's still not quite sure how they're going to administer the funding that we are getting. Is it going to be through the same grant programs that are already in place? Do they need to get new ones? And they want to get you the money as soon as possible, so it might be going through the existing ones, but there's some issues with the swap program as they are, with the current swap program doesn't have money to launch all of the new funding that's coming in, so it's a work in progress, everything's still in flux, but we are monitoring it. It's not just lots of confusion.
Thank you. Any other questions for Josh or Jeremy? Well, guys, thanks for.
We got a
being in the
couple more
house.
items on the agenda if you're fine if we stay up here.
Yeah, we'll go and discuss each one of the other three that are listed on the
Sure.
agenda. So 7.4, item 1, review and approval of Jordan Well number 6 bid package. 2, change order number 3.
So this is a change order through Boomerang to the bid package 2 portion of the Jordan Well project. There were some recent changes between our regulations that kind of shrunk the separation requirements for the main utility transformer. So we looked at an opportunity here to move that transformer a little closer and save some dollars from the electrical subcontractor. So that's what you're seeing in front of you. Forget the actual number, it's just over 2,000, about $2,100. Cost savings for that change.
I'll move to approve that change order.
Second.
I'll second
All
it.
right. Motion by Rich, second by Kay. Further council discussion. There's 2 words that obviously really struck well with the council: cost savings.
We try when we can.
Dana, please.
Zumba,
Yes.
Bamber,
Yes.
Stout,
Yes.
Tukin,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Yes.
Motion to approve carried unanimous. 7.4, item number 2, review and approval of South Boo Street water main and storm sewer replacement amendment number 1.
So this amendment is an amendment to our original contract. The original contract was through design and bidding phase portions of the Booth and Ford Street water and storm sewer project. This amendment number 1 would add on construction phase services to our contract and carry that through completion of the job.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Kay, second by Alan.
So just to be clear, through the completion, you're not going to stop after 6 months or 8 months and ask for more money.
Barring a significant delay, no.
You
Okay.
don't want to be
Always try to
standing in
keep
this
it
room
within-
if you do.
It drags out a decade. We might have another discussion.
Well, there'll be somebody else there.
Yeah.
There'll be somebody else here maybe too.
Yeah.
Probably.
All right. Anything else? Dana?
Yes.
Bamber,
Yes.
Stout,
Yes.
Tukin,
Yes.
Zumba,
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Motion to approve carried unanimous. 7.4, item 3, review and approval of professional services agreement for Anamosa 2022 sidewalk program.
So last time I was here, we discussed the contract a little bit. Since then, came back, discussed with Beth and Chief Hoyt about how we could maybe shave off some of that scope and place it on the city services officer, such as the mailing of the letters and preparing the forms. So we've reduced the fee accordingly and taken that language out of the contract. Part of also what I did was I went through with a fine tooth comb every last sidewalk related ordinance that you have, as well as the construction specifications that are on file, to make sure that I can answer any questions you have on that front. But for reference, the 2 most recent sidewalk ordinances are 656 and 675, which were passed in 1999 and 2001 respectively, with the most recent ADA revisions being in 2009, and the public right-of-way access guidelines not being published until 2013. So there's a bit of a decade of practice that we could take advantage of.
So Jeremiah, have you spoken to the officer and he feels comfortable and
I have, we talked about it at pretty great length here this last week. I told him this was potentially a fairly large upcoming project. We amount the vehicle just a little bit. He thinks he can, take care of it.
so they can work together and, okay. Well, sounds like we need to get our codes up to date a little bit, so
You
I'll
wouldn't
make,
see the reason not to move forward with this thing.
I wouldn't.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion by Rich, second by Kay. Further council discussion? Dana?
Albert,
Yes.
Stout,
Yes.
Tukin,
Yes.
Zumba,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Crosser.
Yes,
Motion to approve carried unanimous.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
We appreciate it. 7.5, project status update on downtown revitalization facade improvement project. Derek Lumsden.
Hello, can everyone hear me?
yes,
We can. Can you hear us, Derek?
Yes, perfect. So thank you everyone for allowing me to be via Zoom tonight. I had another meeting I couldn't get out of. I wanted to say that we spoke with the contractor today and most of the punch list is going to be done by Friday. So we're going good there. Obviously, the one thing that is slightly behind at the moment is the painting. The painter's been on site a few days, getting prepped and primed and everything ready to go. Today, he was on site as well, doing what he could. We're trying to play the next week as best we can, weather-wise, to see what we can do and what we can't do. If I was a betting man, my guess would be May 1st is not going to happen. Tricon has proven me wrong in the past, though, so I want to give them every chance to prove me wrong again. But I'm hoping that it won't be much of a delay if we get a few nice days in a row. So at the moment, I think that my personal opinion is we will not make May 1st, but I don't think it's anything to be concerned about from talking with Andy, the painter, and Martin Gardner. So I wanted to be upfront that looks like there'll probably be a delay unless the painter has a way to make it work to be done by Sunday. What that delay officially looks like in terms of time, I don't know yet, but I'm hoping it's not more than, say, a handful of days. So it's not something that would back up the overall project from being able to be completed and for us to apply for round 2. But it is something I wanted you all to be aware of based on the sudden turn the weather's taken this week, or what it's projected to do this week. So I don't know if you have any questions for me or not, but everything else should be done by the end of the week and on time.
I just want to say it's really coming together and looking really nice.
Thank you. I think so too. And all that credit goes to Tricon. When we found out we were going to have a 6 to 8 month delay in windows and doors and aluminum alone, and the fact that they didn't request the same amount of an extension, that they're getting everything done that they possibly could and still come in on time, minus some of the painting. I have to say that they get and deserve all the credit for making that happen.
I'm sure they appreciate those kind words, Derek. Does the council have any other questions as far as a project status for Derek?
Good job.
Thanks.
Okay, so-
And on the change order, if you're curious, there was something, they were supposed to get a different type of door. But manufacturer couldn't get it in. It's still months out. We talked to the new owner of 203 East Main, and he said he was fine with the door that's there. It matches the other one. And so that's what the change order's for, and gets him a credit towards the project. So it actually works out in everybody's favor that the door matches the other one.
Okay. 7.5, item 1, review and approval of change order number 23.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Kay, second by Jeff. Any further discussion? Kane, please conduct roll vote.
Tukin,
Yes.
Zumba,
Yes.
Crump,
Yes.
Bamber,
Yes.
Stout,
Yes.
Yes.
Motion to carry. Motion to approve carried unanimously. Derek, thanks for attending.
Thanks, guys.
8.0, new business. 8.1, discussion of possible action on Jones County Public Health Board appointment. Jess Wiedenhoff.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Thanks for letting me come tonight to speak to you all. Couple of things I want to go over. Start with this one first, this sheet in the packet. So this is basically some good bedtime reading for you. It's what is public health, what public health does, what it should do, what it can do. And it just really tells you what we are, yeah, they're the same. Yep. It just really tells you what we are responsible for doing to the state and at the federal level too. And then on the other side of that, it has the framework for our Jones County Community Work Group. And this was a steering committee that we started a couple of years ago. But then I don't know if you heard, but there was some health stuff that kind of took away our focus. So, but we've still been kind of pushing forward with things. But now in the last sort of few months, we've really picked up momentum on that again. So again, this is our framework. So every 5 years, we have to report to the state kind of what is the current situation in the county. And we break that down to towns and all different ways. And so really, this is the framework that we use for that. We also, every 5 years, have to produce a plan for the community. But what this group actually is doing is we're not just thinking 5 years down the road, we're thinking, 20, 30, 50 years down the road. What is it that we're trying to achieve as a community across the entire county? And then again, breaking it down to kind of local level. And so, like I said, that's the framework that we use. Obviously, as you can see, there's lots of things there. They all kind of intertwine and cross over into each other. And as we come up with that plan, for the next 20, 50 years, it's not something that we can do on our own, just as public health, especially as currently the local public health is just me, myself, and I. So we need help. We need to understand kind of perceptions in the community, but we also need to understand what leaders across the entire county are trying to achieve as well. Ultimately, we're probably all trying to achieve the same thing of improving the lives of people within the county, but how is it we're all trying to get there? What are all the kind of different things that we're trying to do? And surely it's better if we're all working together and we're all trying to help each other. And so one of the other things I will say as well is with all the different organizations and even the council, we're all constantly trying to find new data, new evidence, and new information. Well, why have you got 20 organizations all Googling the same thing? Why aren't we all working together to collect that data, save that money, save that time? So again, that's what this steering committee does. It's sharing that information, sharing that data, trying to save everybody a little bit of time and money. And again, then that helps kind of write the plan for itself. So one of the partners that we are working with is Healthy Hometown. So they are through Wellmark. And they basically have a team of consultants, and they have been working several years now across Iowa and going into towns and just saying, right, what is it you're trying to do? One of the things they focus on or have focused on in other towns is complete streets, safe streets projects. Now, they don't come in and take over the project and do it all for you, but what they're doing is they're bringing that experience from across Iowa and saying, again, it's kind of giving you the information, saving that time to find it. They've already got it. They've kind of done that project several times. So they've seen kind of, okay, these were some of the barriers that have come up before. Here's how we dealt with it. Or here are some of the people that helped us achieve those goals that we're trying to achieve with whatever the project is. They also bring that experience of, you know, where did the money come from and things and how was it raised? So really, like I say, the big kind of picture of it is they're bringing that experience to each of the towns. And so what we're doing is actually this Thursday, hopefully you will receive the invitation, but we're basically having our kickoff meeting for the Healthy Hometown project. There's 26 items on this list. Healthy Hometown cannot help us with all 26, but they can help us with some. And so at the kickoff event on Thursday, what they're going to do is sit down with representatives from any town in Jones County that shows up, that wants to be a part of this project, and says, right, what is it you're trying to achieve? And they're going to kind of start that process of moving forward with those projects. And again, that's all then going to filter into what our 20-50-year plan is for the entire county. It's a lot of information thrown at you, but any questions? We would love, I think Teresa and Kay, you're both coming Thursday. Yeah, we want leaders in the community to be involved in these conversations, because obviously you're making decisions, you know, specifically for Anamosa here, but it all has an impact on all the other towns as well in the community. And if we're all working together, should make things easier for everybody.
Is there any questions or additional comments for Jess?
I should say as well, sorry, the so the public health work group, we meet every other month, the first Wednesday of the month in the mornings. All
Well,
right,
thank you.
you're welcome.
So this agenda item to me indicates an board appointment. Is that something you're looking from us
So
or
that
just
would be, yeah,
overall?
the steering committee. So if somebody wanted to represent county, the council at those meetings, then yeah, you are more than welcome to do that. Because again, we're not trying to replace anything that's already out there, but we want to bring, so for example, the council, if a representative would come to these meetings, then that would be kind of representing, so you know what the council is trying to achieve, so you're representing that side, but then you would also hear what all these other towns and organizations and partners are doing. And it just becomes hopefully this
So
collaborative effort.
you would like to have one constant representative?
Yeah.
Would that have to be done through a resolution?
So all they're working at is a liaison, so they wouldn't be making any decisions. I know our other board of appointments, in a sense, we do a resolution. Open meetings law, if we have a resolution, you would think that when there'd be a requirement on that. I know I've spoken to the city attorney in the past. And he indicated that it's not necessary. Might be preferred, but it's not necessary.
I can say as well, so other councils, they have their administrator attend the meeting. If that makes any difference as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Jeremiah. Get somebody, it's more motivation to hire somebody quickly, right? Yeah.
I'm open for whatever the council wants to do here. You can move forward with the understanding that city interim Chief Hoyt will be in attendance.
When's that next meeting?
June. Oh, well, so there's the one Thursday night, which is the Healthy Hometown Kickoff, 6 p.m. at Lawrence. And then the regular steering committee meetings are 8:30, the first Wednesday of every other month. So the next one will be June.
Yeah, that time in the morning, I think it would probably be best suited for you.
If I'm organized enough, I usually bring treats, if that helps.
And you said every other month?
Every other month, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have additional meetings if we need to, like if we've got something not going on, but that's traditionally what we try to do. All right. Well, thank you again for letting me
Thanks.
speak tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's a plan. Okay. Thanks again, Jess, for coming and presenting. 8.2, discussion possible action on senior dining center fire system update. Lisa Tallman, Senior Dining Center.
Good evening, everybody.
Hi.
I sent a couple quotes. I'm hoping you guys have those. The fire suppression system at the senior center is obsolete. Needs updated really badly. I've been there 17 and a half years and it was there way before I got there. So I've got a couple different numbers here. They're really different in price. One is looking at completely redoing the whole system. The other one is just updating what exists there.
Did he explain, the person that was updating, did he explain what he would be doing to update it? And did you feel comfortable with that?
I feel comfortable with it. He does a lot of big restaurants and stuff. So he was talking, for example, like he takes a lot of equipment out of like Pays and places that shut down. He's certified to recondition everything that he installs. It would all be up to code. So I have faith in what he's putting out there for a quote. It's like I said, apples and oranges as far as what the cost of these are.
How old is the building?
I want to say it was built in 70,
So probably the equipment in there
original.
is original.
Yeah.
But again, you're indicating that the obsolete system would be updated to be current to codes.
Yes. Does DRJ do all of the city buildings?
That's probably a good question that may not be able to get answered this evening.
Because I didn't know.
Could you come on up, Shane? No, we haven't done this much tonight, but please state your name.
Shane Brown, City Superintendent, Streets. DRJ does come in and do everybody. Fire station, water, sewer, library, City Hall, metal design upstairs, we did that. And they come and inspect hers. They go right to her and inspect it. So,
They're
yeah,
familiar with us, we're familiar with them.
yep,
When you say they do everybody, are you talking fire
fire
extinguishers?
extinguishers,
Yeah,
yep.
they
But
do my
not-
shop too.
But not systems.
They come and check hers.
They check it.
Your suppression system?
Yeah.
And they're the one who basically said it's outdated and needs to be,
That's where it
Update.
started. at.
okay.
But like the other buildings that have systems, do they, like this building, did they come in?
They've
Do this
not
one?
been down here. We just get the fire extinguishers checked.
Okay, but the only building that's getting the system checked is the senior center right now.
Yes, because they're the ones doing all the cooking.
Mine's a little unique.
Any insight from the fire chief who's here?
Please state your name, Dan.
Dan Frank, Fire Chief. So this is from what I've understood in looking through this is for the suppression system over the range. So Senior Center is the only city building in town that has a fire suppression system over the range. So DRJ comes in and inspects all the fire extinguishers, make sure they're inspected for the year. Both bids are from both companies, so.
Looks like DRJ is going a little more extensive as far as what they're replacing.
Yeah, they want to do the whole everything.
Well, the equipment is, if the equipment was put in when the building was built in the 70s, the equipment is 50 years old. Whether it works or not, it's
Mhm.
still 50 years old.
Mhm.
It might be time to look at an update.
Did they give you a time frame? Like if either company, if they came in, shut you down for 2 days, 3 days, a week?
Well, it looks to me like I'm reading on this that it's a Monday through Friday for the Hawkeye Fire, and DRJ would want to do it on a Saturday. I'm thinking that it would take them about a day to do it.
You're just open Monday through Friday?
We got 10 hours of labor on the DRJ group bid, which is possibly 2 guys, half a day.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So all of the equipment listed with DRJ is new stuff.
Yeah.
Well, in my opinion, I'd very seldom go for more money on anything. But I think I would feel more comfortable with DRJ because of what they're doing. Like you were saying, we got a 50-year-old piece of equipment. And if they plug some new stuff in there, I mean, it's pipes and fittings and nozzles and stuff, but we might be better off just to have them replace the whole thing.
Well, especially when you see that some of the stuff that's going in under Hawkeye is used pieces of equipment too.
Yeah.
Because it could very well be one of those things where, yeah, you put in the used equipment and then whatever's been existing, pretty soon we got it, we're starting to nickel and dime
Yeah.
with everything, so. Yeah, I'm in agreement. I kind of like the thought of the DRJ doing that project.
Is this on the agenda for a motion?
Possible action.
Yep.
I move that we go with DRJ and have them replace the entire system.
Second.
We have motion from Alan, second by Rich, to accept the DRJ quote for a system replacement of the fire suppression system. Any further council discussion?
Thank you for bringing it to our attention.
You bet. Thank you.
Dana, please conduct the roll vote.
Smith,
Yes.
Stout,
Yes.
Tukin,
Yes.
Gumbert,
Yes.
Crump,
Yes.
Zumba.
Yes.
Motion to approve carried unanimously. So thanks for your time coordinating this and bringing it to before the council for review.
Thanks for reviewing it.
8.3, review and approval of application of Nicholas Moore to join the Anamosa Volunteer Fire Department.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Rich, second by Allen. Further discussion? Dana?
Stout,
Yes.
Tukin,
Yes.
Gumbert,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Zumba,
Yes.
Crump.
Yes.
Motion to approve carried unanimous. 8.4, review and approval of professional services agreement with Sally Heinrichsen for certified public accountant's assistance.
Move to approve.
Second.
Second by Allen. Excuse me, motion by Kay, second by Allen. Further discussion?
The only thing I would point out is technicality, but I think we either want to make it 0.58 with a dollar sign or 58.5 cents, but not 0.585 cents. That's not a very good mileage rate.
Makes sense.
Under number 4.
Okay, you made the motion. Do you follow? There's the motion. Motion by Kay, second by Allen. There's no other discussion. I'll ask Dana to conduct the roll call.
Tukin,
Yes.
Crump,
Yes.
Gumbert,
Yes.
Stout,
Yes.
Zumba,
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Motion to approve carried unanimous. 8.5, review and approval of amended job description, City of Anamosa Administration Department.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Rich, second by Allen. Further discussion?
This is basically just clarifying the couple city hall positions.
Any other questions? Dana?
Gumbert,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Stout,
Yes.
Tukin,
Yes.
Zumba,
Yes.
Crump.
Yes.
Motion to approve carried unanimous. 8.6, resolution approving the hiring and setting salaries of seasonal part-time employees for the Parks and Recreation Department for the 2022 summer season.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Kay, second by Jeff. Further discussion? Dana, please.
Zumba,
Yes.
Crump,
Yes.
Gumbert,
Yes.
Tukin,
Yes.
Stout,
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Motion to approve carried unanimous. 8.7, review and approval of current bills.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Rich, second by Allen. Dana, if you can offer any insight. Page 3 of the bills to Grayville Communications. New cameras. New camera, $1,607. Was that maybe for camera for a piece of equipment or what was
This looks like it would have been for the library.
the library?
Yeah. And I can, actually, I'll put it right here. looks like the only bill I have right here is for the radio batteries that was to the sewer department. Um, I don't have, I'm not seeing any other bills for it.
Steve, it was nothing city utilities, Shane, nothing street related.
Yeah, Steve Agnes Utilities, we just had the batteries
Right.
for
Yeah,
our radios.
the line account right here shows 410, which would be the library.
Okay,
Um,
well,
So I can check with the library on
It's-
that as well.
that's not necessary. They operate within their budget. I was just inquiring as to the overall expenditure. Anyone else have any questions?
There's one on here for Matco Tools for 175.
What was this?
Matco Tools. Page 5.
Yeah, that was us. We needed a tool that was broke and we can't get Snap-on to come back. Not Snap-on. Mac Tools won't come back to town. So we went to Matco because it finally stopped. And so we had to pay full price for it. But we did get Snap-on to finally stop. So we're gonna start changing out because we just can't get anybody to fix the stuff that breaks now. So Snap-on and Matco said that they would stop for us because we have a full drawer of tools that when they break, we're in trouble. So we're gonna start maybe swapping out to good tools so we can get a lifetime warranty on them. The other one, Mac, whatever, tools. We called about 6 times to see where we were to send the tool to get fixed. And they said to go to Monticello and drive around on Thursday to find their guy. He won't come to Anamosa. So we're to take a Thursday out and drive around Monticello and look for him. That's not what we're gonna do.
Is it still Russ? Or
Uh,
is it not Russ no more?
Nope. So now Snap-on, he's been there 2 or 3 times and he wants to make deals on tools, so we're gonna kind of go that route, but only when something breaks.
Thanks, Shane. Anything else? Motion by Rich, second by Alan. Dana, will you conduct a roll vote?
Robert,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Stout,
Yes.
Tukin,
Yes.
Zumba,
Yes.
Crump.
Yes.
Motion to approve carried unanimous. 9.0 City Administrators Report.
Just a few things. The auditors are in our office. We've been here since last week. We hoped to come a little bit sooner than what they did, but that didn't work for their schedule. So it's been kind of crazy week at City Hall. They do have a meeting scheduled tomorrow. I'll be there, with Mayor Smith and Stout. Citywide cleanup was Saturday. It was successful. I did stop down for a while and after I brought my junk, I felt guilty, so I stuck around and helped out for a little bit. They had about the same as last year, not quite, but the employees down there were mentioning that we had more metal than we did last year. So several mowers, they brought full mowers. And it worked out fairly well. We had our CSO driving around and helping the citizens who needed to get some things down there, but didn't necessarily have a way to get them there. So we transported for him. He seemed to enjoy that. So thanks to him for doing that. And then we're moving forward with IT services, which includes migration from G Suite back to the Microsoft Office. We've been in contact with them. That's hopefully is going to save us some money. We've had to do some encryption software. We can switch to G Suite, which cost more than what we had thought. And hopefully it'll just improve overall productivity and make things a little more efficient.
Also, any questions, comments for Chief? Thanks for that report. 10.0 mayor and council reports, 10.1 mayor's report. I just want to shirt tail on what Chief mentioned about the citywide cleanup. Thanks to all the staff that was there, assisting the individuals that were bringing some of the undesirable stuff down. And also take the opportunity to thank the residents in the community that took advantage of this offering that the city had provided. It's just another way that we can clean up the community as well as make additional space available in their local houses and sheds for more, I guess. But all in all, it sounds like it was a very well participated event. And Shane, thanks for facilitating that for us. I have no other comments or nothing to report at this time. 10.2 council reports.
The library board and Friends of the Library are having a welcome reception for our new director, Aaron Rush, on May 1st from 2 to 4. I would invite everybody to come.
Thanks, Kay. Anyone else? 11.0, public comment for items not on the agenda. Anyone would like to approach? I just ask that you please state your name and your address of residence. There is none. 12.0 adjournment. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.